Welcome everybody to our monthly marketing event here at VBout, where we're going to be discussing how to maximize sales using social commerce. This is a very interesting topic that's only going to get better with the rise of everything that's going on, including AI. And we're going to be just introducing what social commerce is to everybody, some stats around the usage, what channels you can leverage, and some of the case studies that have used this technology successfully. But before I begin, I would like to welcome everyone that just joined us. I'm going to start with no particular order. Please drop in the chat where you're calling from. It's really amazing to see how people are always joining us from all over the world. Some of you are US Eastern or Western time. Some of you are all the way abroad, even from Australia and New Zealand. So just curious to know where you're joining us from while I give the shout outs. And again, welcome to Jacob, Elaine, Alex, Robin, Alfredo Del Arenal. Welcome again. BW and Blaine. Thank you guys for always joining, by the way. Many of you always come back to these events. Hopefully, we're doing something right. I have Carmen and Sihan. We have Corey Graham. Hello, Corey. Dave Smith, Erica Arakawa, G. Combs. I have Gio Francese and Isaac A. I have James O'Malley, James Power, James Whaley, and I'm sorry, Joel Whaley. Butchered your name there. I have John Diamondopoulos, John Drinkwater. Haven't missed an event for the past few years. Thanks again, John, for joining. I have Joy Santiago, Lar Ed, Latasha, Marvin. I have Lisa Linton. We have Mina or Mina. We have Marvin Johnson, Molly X, Monica, Oksana, I'm sorry. I have a bad name day today. If you just joined in, drop us in the chat where you're calling from. I see many of you are from all over the world, from Indianapolis, from Dallas, from the Barbados. All right, Scott. Hopefully good vacation or forever vacation, right? Um, we have more Dallas, Waterloo, Canada, Philippines, Seattle, Denver, Mexico City. I have Odenton, Maryland, Scott from Colombia, and John from London. Scott from Indianapolis again. And a few more of you who hasn't dropped in the chat. I have Ivan Petrovsky, Wayne, Tina, Shirish, Scott Perez, Scott Kane, Ramaji, Pierce, and a few more will probably join. Now, if anybody's on the live chat on YouTube, hello. I know we are broadcasting there. And just a couple of housekeeping items. All the content of this presentation will be downloadable from your VBout dashboard. And we will also, if you don't have a VBout account, we will email you a follow-up with the presentation to download. You have full permissions to repurpose the content as you see fit, because we want you to spread the knowledge across. Also, I'll be open for any questions during my presentation. Feel free to drop them in the chat. I have George with me who can assist with the questions. I'll try my best to answer as much as possible. Most of the time we do. Now, this is not about VBout. This is about a topic for maximizing sales using social commerce. So if you've been with us for quite some time, and we've been doing this for the past 10 years, physical and online since COVID, we are 20,000 plus community alone for events. Plus, we have over 100,000 plus distribution across our email lists and communities and meetups and other channels that we have grown. But for events only, we have about 20,000 members. We also announce a lot of the stuff on our Facebook group, small community. So if you'd like to join us, George will be dropping in a link in the chat. This way you won't miss an event. And at the same time, you'll get access to the latest releases and updates on the VBout platform. If you'd like to support us on TikTok, please follow us as well. George, who is with me, will be dropping in the chat the link to those groups and channels. All right, I'm going to do a quick mic check. George, can you hear me? I think you're having some issues with the mic. All right, I can't hear you. Thank you, John. As a kind of what we do on these sessions is going to be about an hour long, where we have general intro. I'll introduce myself and my company, the sponsor of the event. I'll go through the presentation, the topic of today, and during which I'll take some Q&As. At the end, I'll have about 10 minutes. If anybody wants to stick around and ask additional questions, I'm happy to do that with you. So it's very straightforward. Now, the sponsor of this event, through which I have George and other team members to help put the content, the presentation, discuss it, learn, and synthesize the best topics over to you. VBOT is a sponsor. It's my company. It's 10 years in the making. And what we do here is we've created a marketing platform with 14 plus tools working together. At core of those tools are email marketing and automation. But you can pretty much leverage any of these tools in your stack horizontally with deep features, not just very features that look good on the surface, but you can do a lot of stuff through our landing pages, payment forms. We have pop-ups and lead tracking. Our powerful automation logic builder, drag and drop. We also have predictive email marketing and AI copy. A lot of social media capabilities, by the way, which we use extensively internally, and many companies have built businesses, agencies have built businesses around our social media offering. We have analytics, pipeline management, calendar component, and most recently, we launched a multi-channel AI chatbot, which we are investing heavily in, and many have started using it and seeing the benefits. It's an amazing AI bot that can answer on multiple channels. And some of the content of today will be relevant to this actually, because we are building the e-commerce capabilities into the chatbot to answer on your different social media channels, requests and inquiries, and even potentially make purchases directly from those bots. The product integrates very well with other products, and we have an agency layer to resell, repackage, and repurpose the product as your own via our white label solution. So if you are looking for a marketing platform, you are contemplating a move from HubSpot or MailChimp or ActiveCampaign, where you can save some money, get a lot of features, and an amazing support, I would love to talk to you. My success team can identify for a good fit. And George will be dropping in the chat a link to our demo or a request to speak to one of our success managers. Trust me, it will be totally worth it. And on average, we did the math, we've saved around $7,000 for users and clients moving from platforms like HubSpot, SharpSpring, and Marketo. That's on the low end of things. So that's it about self-promotion. We have to do it. Many of you already are users of VBOT, and for that, I thank you. But even if you're not and you're investing an hour of your time today to learn about social commerce, I also would like to thank you. We have 44 so far, or 42 guests live on this webinar. Some of you are also tuning in on YouTube. And once it's syndicated, it'll probably reach over 1,000 members easy. All right, so let's dive into today's topic, the growth and impact of social commerce. I'm assuming many of you, to some extent, have engaged or know a little bit about it, but I'm gonna just start from scratch for those who don't. But the platforms that we all know and we all use on a daily basis, like Facebook, TikTok, and Pinterest, are providing obviously immersive experiences to users. What I mean by immersive is once you're on it, you're literally glued to the screen. They know how to get you with their sophisticated algorithm to click next, to swipe, to dislike, to leave comments, to read. We're all, I would say, captives of those algorithms. And because of that very basic kind of engagement that we all invest in on a daily basis, there was the need for an e-commerce solution. I wouldn't say need, but more of where this all started is how to leverage. I mean, there are scientists and psychologists who actually study this. They realized by leveraging that kind of engagement on those channels, they could easily get us to make purchase decisions. And by doing a whole bunch of studies, and there are analysis done on this, that impulse buying from people who scroll a lot is extremely, extremely high. And that makes those channels a gold mine for when it comes to e-commerce shopping or social shopping, let's call it. I'm going to unpack that, by the way, in 1 second. Now, on average, a person spends around $314 a month on impulsive buying. And that has grown with the rise of social commerce, which we are discussing today. So I just want you to be aware if you've made this purchase in the last 30 days, and I'm guilty of this, I would say a percentage of that, especially online, has been driven one way or another by social commerce. All right, so what is social commerce at core, right? Let's kind of there are definitely multiple definitions or subcategories of this. There's social commerce, there's live commerce, but it is basically the integration of the shopping experience within your top channels of choice, be it TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, be it also I don't know if many of you Snapchat. They have their own shopping engine. Um, and if you are on the southeast in the southeast or in China, I mean, they pioneered social commerce. They probably are the leading country all over the world when it comes to buying and engaging and turning social media experiences into a buying powerhouse. In fact, 83% of people in China buy on a monthly basis from social commerce um, websites. Okay, everything is very highly connected there with their social apps and their chat. The government invests heavily in those experiences, and they've gamified the hell out of it. That it's so much fun to engage with an app and make purchases through an app and tell everybody about it. So at core, coming back to the topic, an integration of the shopping and the social media channel itself. So as you're scrolling, as you're engaging, things pop up and you're able to buy them just because you like those things. They piggyback on the basic behavior of liking, of commenting, of storytelling, user-generated content, of memes and music in the background that actually trends by turning, jokes and just, basic, I would say, tutorials into things that you can buy. So that core behavior, the engagement that have been triggered through those social channels are at core what powers the buying behavior. And one thing that I wanted to add, which is very, very important, it's a small thing, is making the buy and the checkout extremely, extremely easy. Now, many of you know this as a marketer. Some of the main challenges is how to streamline the checkout of your website so it's super easy to use. And I remember when I first started building e-commerce websites back in the early 2000s, I struggled with OS Commerce and some of the earliest solutions to have, step one, enter your billing. Step two, enter your shipping. Step three, enter your information. Step four, enter your shipping address. Five, payment information. Six, confirm. I mean, that was like a 9-step process to make a purchase that now could be done with only few swipes through the social channel. That's small switch in behavior. That small UX improvement and capability has literally quadrupled and skyrocketed social sales itself. Okay. So this is it's a very brief summary of what social commerce is and the difference between social commerce and live commerce. Live commerce is a category of social commerce where during live events, as you're broadcasting, let's say like me right now, I can push a product to the screen and people can buy it. It's only one category of social commerce and it's done during live events because I've gotten this question here. Awesome. Now, with that last bullet point, there's a joke that I heard, which if you're a nerd like me and a marketer, you might appreciate. Who of you here guys know why the e-commerce store went to the therapist? Why the e-commerce store went to see a therapist? Because the struggles from abandonment issues. Anyways, um, tweaking that, bringing down the abandonment rate is a big deal for social commerce. All right. Poor joke, but it's on the topic for today, so that makes it a bit funny. Let's talk about numbers because everything is relevant. Now, what is the actual social commerce revenue estimate in the next few years? So worldwide, social commerce have generated in 2023 an estimated $570 billion in sales. Social media alone have topped a lot of physical experiences where you used to go at the store, to the shopping centers and the malls, which most of you know, they probably have a ghost shopping center somewhere nearby that nobody goes to. The majority of those sales have now moved to social commerce, online e-commerce. And that number from social alone is 571 billion in 2023 and estimated to hit over a trillion in 2028. Now, I think these are conservative numbers, a little bit kind of an old chart. I believe usually these charts fluctuates at least about 5 to 8% in extra, given the trends of what's going on. And the expected annual growth rate is 13% year to year. And the revenue forecast, as I mentioned, is over a trillion by 2028. So there's a lot of opportunity to optimize that creates a lot of industry for marketers who want to focus on social commerce, working with brands closely to set them up on these different channels. And I'll discuss a few of them to optimize that experience and increase sales at the end of the day. That's why I like to look at numbers. It tells a story and usually it can identify trends. All right. Many of you have responded to the joke. Poor card. Yes, absolutely. Um, Anybody have questions so far? We just laid the ground for what social commerce is, some of the numbers, and how it's driving engagement. All right. Let's talk about the platforms. I'm going to unpack a few that you already know and maybe just tell you the options available on these platforms. I can't cover all of them, and I won't cover a lot of the ones that you might not know. I'm particularly a fan of a product, which I'll mention after, is based out of China that has done something really cool. But I'll leave that to after. The first platform is Instagram. Obviously, Instagram has a huge user base of about 2.3 billion monthly active users. A big chunk of that, a third of that to be specific, engages in some sort of a buying behavior, either purchasing, commenting on posts that have items to purchase, because a comment is a kind of transaction. A like and a save is a kind of, a checklist and a to do this later. So there's a third of Instagram that's engaging with those shoppable posts, as they call them. And the experience is very simple. You're swiping through, basically, you're going from one story to another, be it a photo or be it a video. Many of you are now addicted to Reels. You see something you like, most of the time, you might not even know that it's an ad until you see the sponsored thing somewhere. But you happen to like it because the algorithm has become extremely smart to understand that this is the stuff that you like, maybe that kind of product fits right perfectly in the feed for you to engage with. So you scroll, you get to the part where it's a sponsored shoppable post. You click on it, you engage, you make a purchase decision, and you buy it. And the whole thing will take less than 30 seconds, which is insane. And with that, Instagram leads overall in this category of social commerce because of that very seamless experience integrated with the storytelling and the addiction that we have to its content. Now, basically, these are some things that you see on Instagram when it comes to shoppable. I know many of you have seen these, but also if you're running an e-commerce store, you can do this yourself to your own products. And the way that it works is you can use product tags. Basically, you can upload your products to a centralized place, be it your business, Facebook business. And I think there's another place you can do it. And then when you upload a photo, you can tag products from your catalog directly into the image, like you see right here. And the shopping is very, very simple. So I'm browsing. I'm going to see this image. I like it. I like this product. I'm going to click on it. I'll choose color and variations. I'll click checkout. And because my payment is saved on Facebook, they've done a good job with that. Now I click done and we're good to go. Okay. And I know this has bred a lot of, I would say, issues and stores that are not legitimate that are selling on there. I've been a victim to some of these purchases, but Facebook has been providing some decent protection against um, some of those scam stores, if you want to call them. All right, so they use product tags in images and videos. They can also use them in reels and stories. So pretty much all their content that you can leverage can be turned into a shoppable post. And it doesn't necessarily need to be an ad, by the way, because you could, in a way, create an ad with a product, people click on it, but also your own followers, your direct followers, as they engage with your content, they could potentially engage with the product that they like and make a purchase. All right, and an app checkout, like you can see right here, which I summarize it for you, it just makes it extremely simple because your payment is synced across the board. All right. Now I'm wondering, any of you here are using Instagram shoppable posts? And if you are, why don't you drop us a link to your store? I can take the first one to show everybody an example. Just drop in the chat a link to your shoppable if you have any. Um, and if you're thinking about setting it up, also let us know. I'm just curious. By the way, George, how are we doing on YouTube? Do you have any questions from there or any activities on other places here? Okay, I'm having a little bit of a difficulty, so please bear with me. Okay. Hey, George, can you hear me at all? All right. Thank you, George. If you have any questions on YouTube, I know your mic is off, so please drop me in the direct chat. I'll or copy paste it here on the lines. All right. So who do we have that is using shoppable posts or would like to share their store with us? Anybody? So Ramaji, I'm not sure if you raise your hand, does that mean that you have a shoppable store that you've set up? And if you do, please share a link with us. I'm going to continue until I get a response on this, if any. Okay. Now let's talk about the second channel, which is the sister, Facebook. And you can see Facebook definitely leads, but the thing with Facebook is that everything you push there gets pushed to Instagram as well. So they're piggybacking on each other's traffic in a sense. And obviously you have the different demographics. You have Gen Z versus the millennials. And the millennials, even though they are the biggest spenders, Gen Z have been pushing a lot of trends. So in 2022, Facebook had 63 million individuals engaging with social shoppable posts. And this figure is only growing by 2024, which is this year. It's expected to hit 67 million US shoppers. Okay, this is just in the US. It grows internationally. It's just some of these numbers are only available locally for the US. So some of the features on Facebook Shoppable, again, very similar to how you can do it on Instagram, is that you can create online stories and push it to both Instagram and Facebook on a mobile first shopping experience. You can also go live, like you see here, and add an option to see more on shop. So your live commerce in this case becomes your own store. And one cool feature that they released, it's not something too recent, but it's available in some places in the world, is that you can turn your WhatsApp number and your Messenger also into a direct store. So if you have a business number with WhatsApp, I think I said Shopify, I'm sorry, but your WhatsApp number, as a business, you can set up your catalog and people can message you directly and make purchase decisions from the WhatsApp itself. Um, so because Facebook has invested extensively, or Meta at this point, with its messaging channels and social media and user engagement, they are making it extremely simple for you to, one, tell a story, two, connect and engage and share, and three, make a purchase decision and recycle and repeat. Not only in one form like live or one feed like photos and images, but also via text. All right. Um, and last but not least, they make it easy so you do not need to go out and get your own store to buy. In fact, there are lots of merchants that exist only on Facebook and its sister channels to sell products. They don't have a live e-commerce store. They don't sell anywhere else. So they've exclusively limited the experience to sell on Facebook. And I know since COVID, Facebook has pushed that product a lot to make it easy for businesses to launch stores and sell through there as well. But you can literally create an Excel file, upload it, and leverage the power of the native tools to sell products to your network. Okay. Now, there are many conversations around how much you pay per transaction, what kind of branding are you projecting for your product. These are things that every brand needs to figure out. I personally believe social should be an extension, but if you want to test the validity of a product or an item, it's so cheap to get started on Facebook stores or Facebook Marketplace per se. All right, so I have a couple of comments here on the topic. I have John that's saying he sells tickets to online events, started marketing via social media. That's great, John, but we were talking here a little bit of level up of you being able to sell those tickets directly within the apps themselves. So you can turn your tickets into uh, something people can buy and give you money for. Now, I know Facebook might have some features for you to do that. I'm not quite sure yet. If any of you know if you can turn Facebook events into like paying options, but I do know that you can put at least buy tickets that takes you somewhere to buy the tickets, right? Which is also a social commerce experience. Nick is saying he wanted to say that social posting scheduling is easy on Vbout and scheduling right now. We're listening closer to the webinar. Thank you, Nick. Yes, you can absolutely do that. You can even push social media posts that link back to some of your store products. Because in Vbout, we let you sync your product feed from your store of choice or via just an Excel file. And then you can leverage that to push products out as well. So yes, thank you for pointing it out. All right, so Ramaji is planning to set up a store. So hopefully we'll be giving you some tips, or we're gonna give you eventually some tips on how you can optimize that experience. All right, let's continue with the channels that you can leverage. We have TikTok, and TikTok is growing very fast across the main fours that I'm covering today, um, with their engagement and numbers. So these are some metrics that you need to know. 3 out of 5 TikTok users discover new products on TikTok. This is extremely important. That means your product, your brand, your service can be discovered a lot more effectively on TikTok. Now, whether it's going to be the relevant audience or not is a different story. But I think the algorithm takes care of that at the end of the day. But 3 out of 5 people scrolling on TikTok find new products on TikTok. Okay, that's huge because brands pay top dollars because they're fighting for attention, they're fighting for impression, for views, but most importantly, they're fighting for people to memorize their brand. So with that being said, TikTok is a great channel for you to invest in. And in fact, 35 million US users have engaged in social commerce on TikTok the last year. Okay, that's 35 million users in the US alone. These are not global numbers because TikTok is very big even internationally. So the options, I mean, the numbers are pretty high. And it's expected to hit in 2026 almost 40 million users. Now, I know litigations and some people are trying to block TikTok here. We'll see how that goes, but overall is doing great. And I don't know if you've scrolled through it. There are so many of these live events on TikTok that are trying to sell you something live. And sometimes it's as silly as like a little crystal or like a little whatever sword with lights in it that make it look so cool because they're really talking to you live and they're engaging with you. And that experience itself enhances the value of the product for a consumer perspective. So John found a farm on TikTok and he gets all his meat there now. There you go, John. It's amazing. um, I mean, and I don't know about you. I'm finicky about getting like meat shipped, but if they were able to get you and to trust them enough for them to ship you their meat, I mean, that's that's big. What kind of story did they use to pull you in there? And by the way, guys, I'm just gonna put this out there, but there's there's gonna be a whole new fight over the meat industry in the next 12 months. You're going to see more and more companies shipping products to your house, offering you free steak and sirloins and stuff in return of membership. So the membership, the meat membership is becoming more real than ever. So be ready to see a lot of stories and hype around meat products and organ meat products and similar items as well. It's crazy how the market trends are just dictated by social media. All right. Yes, Leland, you're right. TikTok has been able to gamify the experience very well, absolutely. And this is what China is very, very good at. And the product that I I like, which is something you might not heard of, is called Pinduoduo.com. Pinduoduo is a live commerce. What they were able to do is not only to create games where friends, for example, can um, like farm together, and then if they whoever farms the best, they might get like free boxes of food or something like that. They were able to unlock group buying. So through e-commerce, and this is very genius, by the way, they were able to negotiate with vendors. And you know this, like if you buy bulk, you get better pricing. So what they did is they negotiated with vendors that they're going to be able to bring in at volume bulk buying for specific products. And then people can go in and buy these products. They can create a group or a team, and the team can eventually buy at bulk, right? Let's say I invite all 80 of you right now who are attending this event. to go with me and buy, I don't know, let's just say a sirloin steak instead of $20 in items, organic, grass-fed, grass-finished, to buy it for $8 a piece, knowing that all of us are interested in this product. And they were able to do this extremely well. And they have, I think, almost 800 users on the platform and very healthy margins and revenues. Um, so they gamified the hell out of it. They also were able to do group buying and purchases at the discounts at scales. And the technology itself is very easy to use. Now, there's a lot more to it. I won't go too deep, but I encourage you to check them out. Pinduoduo.com. I'm going to drop it in the chat so you can look up the website. Pinduoduo.com. Perfect. All right, so TikTok for e-commerce, they have different kinds of posts that you can put up. One, you have the native shoppable ads that you see right here. So you just create an ad and you see sponsored and the ad is straightforward. You can also create your own catalog, if you see in the middle, and upload your products there. This is not necessarily paid or anything like that. I'm not sure if there's a transaction fee for buying directly from the product, but and what that transaction looks like. But you have the collection that you can create and categorize items there. And finally, through the live commerce, which they gamified extensively through comments and gifts and coins and stuff, as I'm launching a live event, I can, have an option for buy now, and the things I'm talking about can pop up for you to buy them as well. So these are the three types of shopping ads or shopping experiences that you can expect from TikTok, which hopefully you can leverage somehow. So again, you have just straight up ad for a product. As people are scrolling, they will find your video with the product. You can create collection on your brand, and you can do live events. And with there, you can have the products being pushed uh, in the live experience. Okay. Any questions so far? John is saying that TikTok have a good developers network. I'm always getting news about this. May look into how we can integrate the VBuy. Yes, absolutely. TikTok is very good in their API layers. They're very responsive. They made it easy and accessible. They're lacking a little bit on some endpoints, um, but definitely we have an integration with VBot for native posts. So if you want to push out a video a couple of minutes long, you definitely can. All right. The last channel, and I know there are more guys. I'm not gonna do Snapchat. I know Snapchat, they developed their own artificial or augmented reality layer for e-commerce specifically to enhance engagement to a product, how to make the product 360 and make it fit on you. And you can see the product directly on, whether it be a shirt or glasses or other. I don't want to talk too much about this. Um, but yes, we have, so I'm sorry, guys, we have somebody here who is uh, Zoom bombing us. I apologize about. So Charleston White, appreciate all the lovely curses that you sent our way. Um, Let me just kick somebody out here, you guys. All right, remove, and we're good. All right. Sorry, guys. I got 2,000 comments here from somebody who's cursing me out direct. All right. Can you guys still see me, by the way? Cool. Yeah, they messaged me direct. It's just Zoom bombing. It happens. So in terms of Pinterest, many of you don't use it, but Pinterest actually has a very unique user base. Uh, Female first. They use it for creating boards and inspirations, but they also make buying decisions through the channel, believe it or not. Um, so it's a perfect because of the way that it's built and the user experience, perfect for shopping. Third of the platform of the users have a yearly income over 100 grand a year, and that's by Pinterest themselves. So those active users have some of the buying power. They're not just on the platform to spend time. And that's why they use it because they can create collections, expose, and for future buying in the future. Nobody's going to make a list of things to buy if they don't have the money to buy it. At least the majority of people, not everybody. So Leland, it's been a few years since you logged into Pinterest. I know it's not for everybody. But if your demographics happen to be on there, I think it's definitely a good way to leverage it. And honestly, they've been providing a couple of options here for your ads. One of them, not only ads, but the social buying experience. One of them is straight up ad, and you can promote your brand as an ad directly. Also creating collection, and you see this as cross-occurring theme. All the social media channels allow you to create collections. And because it's a common theme, it's so easy for you to standardize this and use middleware tools to connect with these channels, right? Um, so think about collections, pricing, and a few other things. I'm going to talk about that, by the way. They can even provide availability and some of the reviews on the product. And most recently, they added a live TV. I haven't really seen it much in action, but they have a live TV which allows you to just like we talked about with TikTok and Instagram, to turn the live conversation and live stream into a shopping experience. Okay, people love to see influencers talk about a product, try the product, build a connection, make a purchase decision. All right. So Hope is saying, yes, Pinterest is a search engine. Absolutely. You can search Pinterest for a lot of ideas. I did search for ideas during a Christmas project for like cutoff items to make a project with my daughter. So yes, that was a way for me to. I didn't find what I'm looking for, but I did find a lot of resources because it does have a lot of junk. Hopefully, they clear up a lot of that junk they have on there. Um, but it's very, very powerful as a search engine too, as well. All right. So, what are the best practices to maximizing sales using social commerce? Must start with connecting to a core platform that can let you synchronize the data across the board. And the first thing that pops in mind is a Shopify store because of the ecosystem they have for developers that can connect your store to third party like Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and other. It's a no-brainer for you to upload that directly there. Not only you can have your own online store very easily, but you can also use their plugins to automatically synchronize the product feed to your store. Um, Now, if you don't find what you're looking for in terms of the connection with your preferred channel directly on Shopify, I can promise you there's a middleware tool for e-commerce of almost every e-commerce product out there. I just chose Shopify in this example because I know the depth of integrations that they have. Okay, they integrate um, with WooCommerce, BigCommerce, and all other social media channels. And those who, if you're using an e-commerce store and you build it yourself, um, it might be worth just to kind of standardize your product feed across the board to be able to cater and export easily. You don't want to have discrepancy between the available products in your online store and what's available on social media. So for that being said, just make sure you have a consistent experience across the board because you don't want to sell products that you're out of or products that you've disabled on your website live or in your store and they're still active on social media. That's a logistical issue people might not think about in the beginning, but eventually, as you start selling, this could create a chaos in your logistics. Um, so synchronizing the product feed across the different social media channels is quite important. All right. Second is to optimize your channel or your store or your shoppables with, needless to say, the proper visuals, high quality videos, high quality image close up. You can zoom in. I mean, that's gonna make or break your product, right? I've seen companies sell crappy products, and I'm gonna give you an example. Temu, which most of you probably have seen Temu pop up everywhere. They come out of my water glass, for God's sake, and they make the product look really, really good, some of them. But when they come to the door, I mean, the product just barely works, doesn't work. It doesn't look like what the picture is. It's very cheap. It's pretty much wasting your money. Um, but that speaks for the quality of the photos can make and break your e-commerce shopping process. Writing a compelling story will also be extremely important. Make it funny. Tell the story behind the brand. And I can give you an example of this avocado farm that was just telling the story of how the farmers are, wake up every day. They, what they do, their daily routine, their harvest. So they're literally just following the farmers all across. And I forgot the name of the brand. But that story itself created loyalty with the brand. The avocado is not something you just chop up and you put on your salad or you make guacamole of. Now the avocado has like a little sentimental value. So knowing how to tell stories is probably third of the shopping experience because you need to have the intent, you need to have the proper visuals, and you need to have the proper story. Um, then using strong CTAs, also like shop now, learn more, get yours today. You can get creative with this, and that the actual CTA can have an impact on conversion, even though the numbers are a little bit low because the story, the price, the visuals come first. But think about your CTAs to because if I can buy now, I don't want to be uh, tricked into clicking on something and going somewhere to sign up to a newsletter and the product's not there. I'm gonna lose trust with the brand. Okay. Cool. Keep your branding consistent. And by the way, I'm in the section where I'm giving you tips on how to optimize your um, shoppable or your social commerce store if you're launching your own. Okay. So keeping your branding consistent across channels. I mean, you hear this a lot, but standardizing your store photos and descriptions and all those things is part of brand consistency. Using very similar logos across the board because people tend to search for you, especially if you start moving from a $10 item to 50 to 100 to a 200,000. People might start to kind of dig a little bit deeper. What is your website like? What is your social presence? Are you on other channels? You want to have that consistent brand across the board so you're not losing people trust along the way. And I've seen companies launch too many products. There's just logos all over the place. And that just breaks the user experience when they're doing their due diligence before buying from you. The logos, typographies, the messaging, and the tone, I mean, these are all part of your branding. And the brand identity, which usually comes in through the copies, the humor. If you're using humor, use it across the board. Um, the type of videos that you're using. And we live in a time where we don't need to spend so much money and effort on high production ads, right? Things can be extremely low budget. You can do it on your phone, use existing filters, and you're pretty much good to go. Then something that is probably one of the foundations of social commerce is tapping into customer reviews and user-generated content. So how can you get your own customers to tell their story with your brand? Okay. Everybody want to push out content. People want engagement to their own content in one form or another. How do you give them enough substance and story and good product for them to create their own content and be proud of it? And some brands do this extremely well, better than others. It does involve you being working closely with your brand advocates. So if you have, what I call the holy shit clients, the clients that love you and they use your product and have no problem recommending it, these are the people who are willing to make videos about your your company. Um, so excite them to make those videos. And this is just an example of a before and after from a product. um, you can turn testimonials into videos yourself if the client, with the permission of the client. Um, then tagging the client, of course, to reshare. People who are on social media appreciate that kind of clout that you give them. If you have thousands of followers and now all of a sudden you got tagged and then they gain another 100 followers just from that one post. But you don't want to just be putting your brand all the time. Um, yeah, as me speaking every single time on every single post. And we try here at Viba, for example, to get customer reviews and testimonials in the front end of things to mix up the content. But for some brands, like beauty brands and luxury brands, it's a lot easier to get the end consumer to share that kind of content. Not to mention, you can highlight feedback, but there are some brands who also highlight the negatives to bring them into lights and what they're doing about negative comments and negative experiences. So this could be an art of you finding a negative experience or a negative review, putting the light on that, and then trying to explain to the community how you're solving these negative feedback. So being proactive, I think, is the key here. By the way, George, how are we doing? Any comments or questions on YouTube? Thank you. All right. Using contests and giveaways, by the way, is a brilliant idea to drive um, traffic to your social commerce because people like to win. And some people, they do it in live events. They work really well. Oh, today, we're giving out those two things. If you attend by the end of this event, all you have to do is just share this and drop us a comment. Um, okay, push the heart button or the like, and then we'll add you to the giveaway pool. They use it a lot, and that usually create the clout necessary because if you know anything about those social algorithms, is every like and every view and every sticky more than 5 seconds, 10 seconds, a minute attendance, that means that this thing is trending and most likely is going to show up in people's feeds. So how you work around this algorithm by driving engagement. I know this is a lot of work, but this is really the tactic of getting the cloud and getting those user base engaged. All right, obviously tagging is something that works really well, and you can tag certain people in your network. I personally don't like to do it, even though some channels allow it for convenient reason, like Facebook groups. I can tag everyone with a very simple notification. But I do get sometimes mentions on TikTok and other channels. And when I get in there, it's just somebody have tagged thousands of people somehow, which is pretty annoying. Um, don't do that, but you can do it within a group environment if that's your thing. All right. Again, freebies and giveaways are not for every brand. That if you are trying to get that clout and you feel giveaways for products that cost you $5 or $10, um, could potentially bring you 5 sales or 10 sales. I mean, the unit economics, of course, match, right? Makes sense. Hosting live events as a branch of social commerce is live commerce. People love live events. They feel like it's happening now. They're part of the now, not of the past. That's why sometimes the best place, that's why people love to attend webinars and attend live events because they know it's happening now. They don't want to go back and watch it when it's stale. And it just really depends. But with these beauty products, obviously, they do extremely well with live events with these, cheap products manufactured, they're usually like $1 to manufacture, and they sell them on these live commerce. Like I mentioned, selling crystals and rocks and headbands on TikTok, and you have thousands of viewers on there. I mean, it's insane. So I guess people binge watch when something is live, it has more meaning to them. And by the way, you can record something and then use third-party tools to broadcast it and make it seem like it's happening now. So don't think that you always need to be there for every single channel. There are some technologies available so you can pre-record and make it live on some like Facebook and YouTube and LinkedIn. Uh, I'm not sure about TikTok yet. I think you need to record directly from the app. Could be wrong. But these channels that I mentioned, you can pre-record and then broadcast to third-party um, streaming engines. um, and finally, live shopping events can increase average order value by 30% compared to e-commerce channels. That's because people trust you more, and you can put a little bit of markup and they will still buy it. Um, Obviously, if you're doing live events, you might want to do like, okay, on this 1 hour, I'm gonna be selling the product at a discount and click the like and follow me. So next time I launch the same live event, you'll be able to leverage it. Get smart with this, guys. Then you have to engage with your customers. Be ready to answer any comment, feedback. Obviously, using the proper hashtags and mentions are important. But every time we launch an ad on social media, we've gotten tons of comments. Shoppable posts and social commerce gets a lot of engagement as well. So make sure that if you're prepping for social commerce, to have a strategy for answering every time a question comes your way. And don't worry too much about negative questions because people expect them. So if you get them, turn those negative questions or feedback um, into a potential, clearing up any Q&As or other worries that people might have before they buy from you. So never ignore those negative comments. Now, what I was referring to is not paid ads, although it's form of it because you can sponsor a shoppable post and push it out. But one of the strategies for testing your social commerce is by investing in paid ads and using retargeting. Now, I know you can unify your channels like in VBOT, we can track your e-commerce purchases, we can create audiences, and then you can synchronize those audiences back to a third party. So that comes back to one of the challenges of marketers, data consolidation. As an e-commerce company, you want to consolidate that data somewhere. Usually it's in your e-commerce store, but if you're using a third-party marketing platform like VBOT, you can synchronize that in VBOT as well. And from there, you can generate and create audiences that can be easily sent back to your channel of choice to fine-tune a retargeting audience um, that resemble people who bought from you before. All right, so think about these strategies of how to turn all that rich data from existing buying experiences into custom audiences to potentially automate lookalikes, ads, and so on. Okay. Now, creating AI chatbots, and this is something that obviously it's a hype, but it's a good hype because it works. This is why we built the technology at VBOT because we looked at the numbers, we tested it internally with our own user base. On the support alone, it was decreased support tickets by 16%, 14 to 16%, in just a matter of a few months. So only on the support side, it was able to assist. With the chatbot, you can upload your product feed and turn it into its own store. And people can ask questions and get product recommendations through the bot. So basically, the AI chatbot can be trained on your own data sets, potentially previous purchases, or maybe even you creating all this documents of products working together or preferences, people's reviews, and let the bot recommend products. Of course, test it really well. to ensure it's not hallucinating, because that's a common thing. But AI chatbots can certainly drive the e-commerce behavior. And I'm saying AI chatbots because they could be deployed on your Facebook, they could be deployed on your WhatsApp and other channels, not just on your website. Okay. Um, Anyways, so you think about it as the AI chatbot is one, answering very basic e-commerce questions about products and pricing, two, asking for recommendations, and three, which is the ultimate highest level, is to transact directly from the bot and make a purchase from the bot. All right, and then I think this is the last point on the side, is to partner with influencers who can push your product. And I know this is not easy, and some of those influencers, they want to get paid. They ask for a basic fee. If you don't have the money for it, maybe try to do a joint event together, which push each other's products to your network. Um, some influencers that might really value the product that you have, use it and talk about it. Some might do that in a combination of taking some money as a fee. That's going to be up to you doing your homework. But then once they create the content to talk about your product and getting that early engagement, that's what you're looking for. Um, and because they have a network and they can connect with the network, they've built it over time. Um, that means that you need to understand your target audience and who are right influencers that are going to get you more of your target audience. And with that, if you're looking for influencers, don't forget that one of the basic or the foundational tracking is for you to have proper tracking links, affiliate tracking in place, discount codes, so you can know how each initiative is working, and definitely set your KPIs so you know which campaigns and which influencer has gotten you the best results, right? You don't want to just use the same code across the board. You pay 10 influencers, one of them got you better results than the other. Maybe you can reinvest in that influencer in the future. All right. I just have a couple of minutes here on few brands that have done this extremely well, and then I'll let you guys go. First is Sephora. They've done a great job with this. And honestly, social commerce with beauty brands, luxury brands, accessories, it does pretty well because a lot of time the AOV, or the average order value, is not that high. You can transact easily when a product is less than $50. Um, and a lot of these products in this industry is affordable like that. Sephora, they have the entire catalog pretty much ready to be pushed throughout all their different social channels. Not only that, they did a great job with their product tagging and descriptions and pricing and collections and categorizing. So even though they're a big company, I think anybody who has an e-commerce store, they could spend some time categorizing their stuff um, to lay that foundation. They did partner with influencers to push their brand, who talk about their product all the time. That's huge. And they have chatbot on different channels that could answer basic questions before human interventions. That those chatbots can also give recommendations, although sometimes when I tested them, they weren't the best recommendations, pardon me, but they do work. Nike has done a great job as well. It's a known brand, so you can trust their initiatives, and you can. One of the things they've done extremely well is obviously storytelling with all their campaigns. So that transcends all their social media. So when they post something, they make it very easy for you to go and buy it. Um, and mind you, if you look at their feed, most of their feed is not them selling you something, but they do have the option for you to go to their collections and purchase from them. Then you have Milk Bar, which is a US brand. Before the pandemic, 75% of Milk Bar came from physical stores, but after the pandemic, where they started pushing heavily on videos and amazing content online. They allowed purchases through social media. The majority of their sales started to come directly from social media. So they really moved a big chunk of their physical e-commerce experience to social commerce experience. Eventbrites have leveraged social media to create events online that eventually leads to uh, the channel to buy the ticket from Eventbrite. Because of the features built in Facebook, creating an event on Facebook can yield a lot of people knowing from your network who's going, who's not going, who's a maybe, and you probably know these dynamics in the user experience. It also serves as a search engine on Facebook to look up events in your area at a specific time and date. And with that integration, they leverage social commerce to drive ticket sales on the other side. Um, and that's something for you, John, if you are selling, maybe this one way to do it is to see how to get all your uh, ticket sales on Facebook, leading with the find a ticket back to where you can transact to buy it. Booking.com, they've always been a pioneer when it comes to automating transactions and things. Their marketing is quite strong, and I highly recommend you engage with their bot. I did engage with it. It wasn't, I mean, I tricked it, but it did answer the majority of my basic questions. That could definitely lead to a booking. So Booking.com is another brand that leverage social commerce um, to drive more bookings to their site. And last but not least, Charlotte Tilbury, if you know this brand, and I know I didn't talk about VR and AR, augmented reality and virtual reality, and its place in the buying experience, but a lot of brands have been able to create that experience of augmented reality, push it on Facebook because Facebook posts can support some of that type, and leverage it to drive sales. So Charlotte Tilbury gamified a little bit uh, the process of shopping. They call it Shop with Friends, where they allow users to share experiences with their loved ones through video calls, and they can discover things together, like hidden treasures and hidden products and stuff like that. I didn't try it. This was a case study um, from a third party, but if you know the brand, you probably know what I'm talking about. But they create live shopping on TikTok. So you can join that interactive experience, including they bring in influencers with special discounts on specific products. So yeah, these are some of the brands that have leveraged social commerce really well. All right, I think this wraps up the content for today. To summarize, you have a lot of ways and a lot of channels for you to turn your traditional e-commerce into social commerce. You can certainly standardize your store catalog so it can be easily deployed to these channels. So use third parties like maybe Shopify with the connectors it provides. You have Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, um, and you have Pinterest. These are four channels that you can easily push your products on, or at least start with the first three. You can get a lot of engagement. Make sure your products have a story behind them. The visuals are excellent. The videos are relevant. Uh, make the checkout experience seamless. Try to leverage some of those influencers as well to or joint events to drive more eyeballs to your product. And at the end of the day, it's just trial and error. You keep trying, get your products on these social media channels, and it will only extend your brand. It doesn't necessarily replace or take profits from the existing brand. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the content for for today. I can take any questions that somebody might have. And by the way, just to kind of come back to our original pitch, if you are looking for a marketing platform, I would love to have a quick call with you to see if we can be a good fit, help you and your team migrate from other products you're paying too much for, or perhaps you're using too many products. We can certainly help in that area. Nice. So Dave, thank you for the takeaways. Yes, that's true. The takeaway is set up an e-commerce store, leverage AI chatbots and other channels to optimize this process, partner with influencers to promote it. Thank you. All right. Scott, you don't use booking sites? No, I totally get it. Yes. You got to be smart when booking online. You can use some tactics on booking specific days of the week. Don't do the same search from the same IP a lot. Um, yeah, there are some tactics you can look up online to get the best deal possible. All right. Thank you, everybody. Well, thanks, everyone. I know this is a learning topic for us. We already have built products in that space in the past. Um, and now we have chatbot that's going to be with that shopping behavior to support transacting potentially directly from the bot. So we're learning a lot about the topic. Hopefully you found it useful. Hopefully I'll see some of you moving to social commerce soon or experimenting with it. But just like everything else, the content of this presentation will be shared. And I really want to thank you for your time again, investing in this. So thank you and have a wonderful rest of June. I can't believe it's June already. All right. Thank you, everybody.